this can happen anywhere. It can happen here. It can happen maybe in Canada. We don't know. We don't know where it can happen, but it can happen. Venezuela, it was a wealthy and an amazing country many years ago.
This is Jim Forsyth, Chair of Citizens for Sound Money, and today we're got a crowd here. We've got Marion Ward, our Executive Director, and we're pleased to be introducing Alexandra Perez, I guess, who is going to start being our Spanish-speaking correspondent. We're going to try to reach out to Latin America in Spanish, and she'll be conducting interviews with Alex of Atlas Vaults that we've got with us in the future, and I guess probably Carlos as well, and then anybody else we can think of in Latin America to try to spread the word on Sound Money down there, because if we are always recording in English, that doesn't help. So Alexandra, welcome.
Oh, hi, Jim. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys and share all of my experience with the Sound Money, and also with the economy of, my country and the new country where I'm living, that is Peru, actually. So yeah, I am here since 2018, and it was everything because of the economy in Venezuela crashing.
So you're from Venezuela originally, right?
Yeah, I'm from Venezuela. I think I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
So I have been living in Peru since 2018, and I actually live in Venezuela my whole life, and it was a bad situation happening there since the change of the government, because before of the second government, everything was kind of okay. So after the new president, that is the actual president of Venezuela, everything started crashing slowly, and then in a minute, everything just drive a huge mess, and the economy just went like so bad. You can't even get or buy eggs or something for your basic canasta, So after all that, I decided that I was going to get out of my country to be able to provide to my family and help them, like with food, with money for the medicines. And I decided that I was going to come to Peru, and it was hard, the process, but once that I get here, I saw so many opportunities, so many different ways of earning money, and an stability that I didn't see in my country since a long time ago. So I started working in little stores and informal jobs. And also I have been a nanny and working as an assistant in several places. And in that moment, when I meet that family, I meet a great person that introduced me to this world of sound money, like kinesis. That was the big opportunity. So I start making my research and checking on how it works, like what is this about, what we can do in this website. And I realized that I was more confident having my money over there than holding it with me in dollars. Then I started watching more news and how during a time the government of the United States just start printing money. And I was like, okay, I have half of my money backed up in dollars. So what am I going to do? If dollar crash, most of the Latin America economy is based on that. So what am I going to do? So I start making my research and seeing all of these pages, and it was just awesome. All the, all the information that they give you, and how they explain this situation. And I'm like, okay, let's try with this. So I create my account and I start saving my money. Now it's awesome how has increased the amount. Even the KVTs, that was just awesome. That gets me excited. Every single morning I wake up and just check on Kinesis account, and I'm like, oh, I have this amount more or this more. So it's just awesome to the way that they manage all this. So, but basically, right now, Peru is not in their base. Talking about the economy here in Peru is not the best right now. From since I arrived here, right now everything is getting more expensive. So I'm so happy that I have my money saved in Kinesis, because the economy here is struggling a little bit. So this is a good thing that you can keep your money and have it safe, and you can use it, after, even if it's 5 years after you got it, and you can buy it still the same, it worth the same that the first moment that you got it.
Yeah, I mean, thousands of years ago, I guess the saying is, you could buy a toga and, leather sandals, and today you can buy a suit. It still buys the same stuff. So yeah, no, it's great to have you, and we're really looking forward to having you, conduct Spanish interviews, reach out to people in Latin America. And
Jim, it's so incredibly fortuitous to have someone who has experienced Venezuela and is now in Peru, especially for the American audiences, because I think a lot of American audiences do what I used to tell the Venezuelans: this is going to happen to you, and they would always say, "It can't happen to us." And Americans are the biggest violators of this rule. They all believe that this can never happen to their money, that their economy is perfect. It's never going to happen. And just in 6 months, you're beginning to see empty store shelves. You're beginning to see the beginnings of the original points in time of Venezuela when they changed their economy. They don't think they didn't think it would happen to them either. And this is happening right now in the United States, and people do not realize it's happening. Inflation is getting out of control of the banks. The central banks, the Federal Reserve is losing control, hasn't admitted it, but it is losing control. And if you notice, every time they give you some factor figure, it's always something like it's reported as a surprise. And this is going to be, I think this is going to be the whole year is going to be like this. And yeah. I really believe that, people have got to learn from these kinds of experiences. And I'm so glad she can talk about that, because people in Venezuela have learned to become survivors. People in Venezuela have figured out ways to make changes and use them. For years, it was the black market, the black market dollar instead. Then it became illegal to have, of course it was illegal, but then it became, they stopped you from using the dollar. And now, they use gold to save themselves. They got into Bitcoin. And what she just said, was Alexandra just said about finding a way with kinesis and silver and gold. This is really going to be the way out for a lot of people. Yeah. And I think a lot of people that don't have a lot of money, everyone can save something, and you can save a lot of money in silver. And silver is your best way to go right now. If instead of keeping a bank account or keeping a lot in a bank account, you can start keeping some money in silver. And that's your bank account. And I love the fact that she's in that.
Yeah, I like, it was interesting the way you described it. It sounded like it was kind of slow then all at once when things collapsed, right? And that's Gresham's law kicking in, where, you know, you start to get inflation starts to get a little worse, and then everybody realizes it's there and starts dumping their currency. And that just really wraps up and accelerates things. But yeah, I mean, you know, you've seen it firsthand. You know, I visited the Soviet Union right prior to the collapse, and so I kind of, you know, saw that firsthand. And so I can see it coming, and you can see it coming, but a lot of people just think it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
There's,
and something. Oh,
Go ahead.
okay, something that I was wanting to say. Now that we talk about the inflation, right now in Venezuela, even the dollar is getting inflated. Even that. So I used to send to my mom like an amount of money monthly for her to get the basic stuff like eggs and cheese, ham, something like that. And let's say that she buy some eggs for $1. So the next week is $2. So or 1.5. So it's getting worse, and people outside of the country they don't know what is really happening. But it's getting even worse now that they implement all these ways of payment, like they create this petro, that it's a cryptocurrency, but belongs to the government. So now you can pay in petros and things like that, but it's backed up in what?
The key,
what
you just said it. The key is get out of the third party control. If you can have something that's out of the third party hands, you're safe. You have something safe. If you've got something that the government controls or a big firm controls, the stock market controls, you are not safe. Your value is not secure. You have to have control of it. You have to be able to hold it. And that's why that's the wonderful thing about it. And you're right. People are feeling inflation because of the dollar everywhere. And it doesn't matter if it's Venezuela, it's Peru, it's Panama, it's the United States. It's getting horrible.
Yeah, that's one reason I'm excited about Atlas in Latin America now is, you know, you said you want to be able to touch it physically, and that opens up the redemption possibility for people there without paying ridiculous shipping costs coming from New York or something.
Yeah, you can. The fact is, what we want to be here is create a hub where you have Peru and Colombia, and even in the United States, you got 2.5, 3 hour flights from Texas and Miami and most of the West. It's not very difficult to get into Panama, and most people don't realize that Panama is a very Miami-like area. So it's very convenient, and it's very familiar to Americans. And Latin Americans know Panama very well. Venezuelans made Panama their second city. But you know, this is something that a lot of Latin Americans are familiar with. Latin Americans are familiar with creating a hub where they can go. And most people can tell you, like Alexandra's got the experience, that you're always looking for a refuge. You're always looking for a place. You've got to find a place outside of where you are that you can have your wealth stored safely and away from the prying hands of these kinds of governments, because that's what happens. You've got people in Venezuela and people in certain other countries that want to get their hands on what you have, and illegally, I might add, not legally. And you should have a plan B to keep your wealth safe, keep your assets safe. Yeah. That's all this is all about. It's that simple.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to ask Alexandra about, watching what you've watched now in 2 different Latin American countries. What would you tell us Americans to do? Like, you're seeing the pattern is already happening here. How can we do better?
You know, I think one of the best options it will be like, go to the sound money, go straight to what it is, gold and silver. That's a real precious metal that actually exists. Is there, you can touch it, you can feel it. So just try it. And the inflation is going to happen all over Latin America. All of the countries are getting, well, Latin American countries are getting bad. So why United States, it will be the only one that is not going to be bad, you know? This can happen anywhere. It can happen here. It can happen maybe in Canada. We don't know. We don't know where it can happen, but it can happen. Venezuela, it was a wealthy and an amazing country many years ago. People were driving crazy to go and visit our country and go to our amazing beaches and go visit the awesome places. So now we are one of the most dangerous countries in the world. And everything, it's because all the money, it's backed up in the government that is backed up in nothing. So if I can say something, is just search for other ways to keep your money safe. Just find a way through Kinesis. Well, I actually don't know other options because I have been so much into Kinesis that I don't see other options, but you have to find a way to keep your money safe. It's yours, and just think about it like an investment for your future. You know, don't think that this is not gonna happen, because it could happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's Valentine's Day today, so I bet we ought to all get running probably. Really appreciate everybody coming on, and Alexandra, really look forward to you talking to Atlas and other peoples in Latin America in their native language.
Okay.